Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the MLB DFS Core Pick video for Tuesday, July 1st. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. When we go over my core picks, there's going to be 5 players in total, 1 pitcher, 4 hitters. That's going to be based on a combination of past performance versus their respective opponent, as well as some recent history. And then after that, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk through my top GPP teams to stack for Tuesday's slate overall. And then in the morning, I'll be listing my early morning weather report that have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will be posting as many of these starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down in that comment section so that you do have the most up-to-date information as possible, especially headed into lock. But without further ado, we'll get right into it with the core picks. We are going to start off at that pitcher position. We got Shane Baz here at $9,100. Averaging just over 29 fantasy points per game on the season. Been a little bit of up and down year for him just in general. Goes against the Athletics. He has good history versus them in the past. He had 45 points in his one lone start versus them in 2024. So definitely do like the upside with him. You know, if you want to play a different pitcher, couple different ones out there that look pretty good besides him in Freddie Peralta and Jacob deGrom. Some other guys that do have some potential upside at the same time as well. But if we look at what Shane Baz has done so far in the season, he's got 8 wins in total. ERA is a little high at 4.37. He's had a couple bad starts in there, which kind of boosted it up, making a little bit more hit or miss as of late. But his most recent start was really good. 2 of the last 3 were good, so definitely do like his upside in this matchup. And he's averaging just over 29 fantasy points per game at $9,100. Then we move down to our hitters. We're going to start off with Michael Busch at $3,100, averaging just under 10.5 fantasy points per game on the season. He is going against the Cleveland Guardians. Gavin Williams is the expected starting pitcher for them. He is 1 for 2 with 1 home run versus Gavin Williams in his career. He has at least 1 hit in 3 out of his last 4 games that he has started. 3 multi-hit games during that time span, 2 home runs, 3 double-digit performances. So Michael Busch has been doing really good as of late. If we look what he's done on the season in totality, 273 batting average, 14 home runs, 49 RBIs. Once again, averaging just under 10.5 fantasy points per game at $3,100. Then we move down to second base with Ozzie Albies at $2,600, averaging just under 8 fantasy points per game on the season. He is going against Los Angeles Angels. Tyler Alexander is the expected starting pitcher for them, and he's fared very well versus Tyler Alexander throughout his career. 4 for 6 with 3 home runs versus Alexander. He has at least 1 hit in 4 out of his last 5 games. However, the upside hasn't quite been there as of late. 0 multi-hit games, 0 home runs, and only 1 double-digit performance. But we're definitely banking on some of that past history with Ozzie Albies. You know, a little bit of a slump here this season. But at $2,600, the price tag kind of outweighs some of that risk. 223 batting average, 6 home runs, 28 RBIs, averaging just under 8 fantasy points per game once again on the season. So it hasn't been the greatest year for Ozzie Albies overall, but definitely do like his upside in this matchup versus Tyler Alexander just in general. Then we're going to move down to third base with Eugenio Suarez at $3,500, averaging just over 12 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against San Francisco Giants. Hayden Birdsong is the expected starting pitcher for them. And Eugenio Suarez is 2 for 4 with 2 home runs versus Birdsong in his career. He has at least 1 hit in 7 out of his last 8 games that he's played. And the one game that he went hitless, he only had 1 at bat and he left the game early and then ultimately ended up missing the next 2 days. But he's been back. He's been looking pretty good since he's been back. 5 multi-hit games, 4 home runs, 3 double-digit performances, and 4 games of at least 9 fantasy points during that 8-game stretch. So he's been doing really well as of late. Definitely do like his upside in this matchup. If we look at what he's done so far on the season, 257 batting average, 25 home runs, 68 RBIs. Really strong season for him so far, averaging just over 12 fantasy points per game on the season at $3,500. And then last but not least, we're going to go down to outfield with Julio Rodriguez, and he's at $3,200, averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game on the season. Goes against the Kansas City Royals. Michael Lorenzen is the expected starting pitcher for them. He is 3 for 9 with 1 home run in his career versus Michael Lorenzen, and he's currently on a 3-game hitting streak. 2 multi-hit games, no home runs during that time span, but does have 2 double-digit performances. So like what he's been doing a little bit as of late, if you go back even further, it's like 8 out of his last 10 or 11 games, he's had at least 1 hit and been doing pretty well just in general. So definitely do like that upside out of Julio Rodriguez. Typically a guy that performs better in the second half of the season, which technically we're right around that midpoint in the season. So would not be surprised if he takes off once again in the second half. But 259 batting average, 11 home runs, 42 RBIs. Once again, averaging just under 11 fantasy points per game at $3,200. But with that being said, if you go with the 5 players that I do have listed here, you have $13,500 remaining, just under $3,400 remaining per player, so a good amount of money remaining left over. Obviously, you don't have to play all 5 of these players together. Stacks will play a pretty big role, as it is a 10-game main slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to my cheat sheet and talk about my top GPP teams to stack for Tuesday's slate overall. So we are going to start off with the Houston Astros. They're going against Chase Delander of the Colorado Rockies. This game's out at Coors Field. They have not faced Delander in the past, but there definitely could be some pretty strong upside there just in general. Then we move over to Texas Rangers, who are going against Brandon Young of the Baltimore Orioles. Got called back up for the start. It's his 4th or 5th career start. Hasn't pitched too well so far. Has one start against Texas before. Didn't go very well. So I definitely do like the upside with this Rangers team once again, although they do have that limited history versus Young in the past. And then we move over to the Atlanta Braves. They have fared pretty well versus Tyler Alexander in the past, although the Braves have been a little bit down as of late, but definitely do like their upside in this matchup. And then last but not least, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're going against the Chicago White Sox. Shane Smith's getting the start. He's looked pretty good for the most part so far this year, but a little bit more bumpy as of late, and obviously a pretty strong Dodgers lineup, so would not be surprised if they have a good day versus him at the same time as well. But with that being said, these are my core picks as well as top GPP teams to stack for Tuesday, July 1st. As always, if you have any questions related to MLB DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Once again, in the morning, I'll be listing my early morning weather report. They'll have any game that does have a double-digit chance of rain or higher. And then I will also be posting as many of the starting lineups as I can get to throughout the afternoon and early evening. So definitely make sure that you are checking up down in that comment section so that you do have the most up-to-date and relevant information, especially headed into the lock. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps with the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have MLB DFS in terms of the core pick video, typically Monday through Friday. I know that I did miss Monday this week. Was out of town over the weekend, got back a little bit later on Sunday, so didn't get a chance to do Monday's slate, but should be good to go for the rest of the week. I know next week probably not going to have a video on Monday or Tuesday. Going to be out of town for the 4th of July weekend, getting back probably later on Monday, so won't have anything for Monday or Tuesday, but we'll have it for Wednesday through Friday next week. And then I also have my CFL DFS video coming out once a week, typically on Wednesday, so definitely feel free to check that out if that's something you're into as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you're a brand new user to any one of those 3 sites, when you sign up, make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's 100% match up to $100. And then for BetUS, it's 125% match up to $2,000. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comment section of this video or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in MLB DFS for Tuesday, July 1st.